might notice I've got the same. I'm in the same game as the last video, you know, from the loadout and such, and the skin. And if you're wondering why, the skin, by the way, is I love Daredevil. He's one of my favourite superheroes. So, you know, and his new show's coming out this year, I think, or next year. So I had to put some, you know, respect on his name. And yeah. So anyway, the reason I'm recording straight again is because I had another video planned, and I thought, fuck it, I might as well do it, because I haven't even finished this game yet, and I might even die before I end the video. But if you've seen the title of this video, you'll know I'm covering The Boys Season 4 theories. The Boys is one of my favourite shows, probably top 10, maybe even 5. I haven't really thought about it, but it's one of my favourites. Homelander is my second favourite villain in anything I've ever seen, my first being Negan, of course, but my second is Homelander. He's just written perfectly. But I'm going to be doing some theories, mainly because I've got the comics of The Boys. I've got all of them. I've got like 6 of the compendiums, or on the bus, whatever they're called, I can't remember. But anyways, I've read a bit, key points, so I'm going to be giving my opinions on what could happen. Obviously, you might be thinking, oh well, they don't really stay that true to the source material, and whilst you've got a point, I still want to try and see what I can figure out anyway. So without further ado, let's get into it. I believe this season another major character is going to die, and the reason you might be, you know, you might be thinking why, and the reason is because the comic run isn't very long. It's about, I think, 72 issues, which is like 12, I think 12 volumes, right? 66, 72, yes, 12 volumes. So it's not a very long run at all. It took like 4 years, I think, to conclude. So I don't think we've got that long of the show left. I think, if I was going to guess, I'd say about 4 more seasons, maybe 5 at a push. And obviously they always could extend past the comic run, like, you know, other shows have done that, Umbrella Academy for instance. But, you know, if we're going, like, if we're copying the comics a bit, I would guess that they don't have very long. And another reason to prove that as well is because in the last season, Billy was literally given like what was it, a year to live on treatment. So, you know, there's, you know, theories I've got, and, you know, there's evidence to back up that it might not go on for that long, unless he gets a hold of V, like, permanently, and, you know, becomes the Billy that he is in the comics, just like always has powers, always a threat. Yeah, so unless they do that, I can't really see them extending it. Do I think they would kill Billy off earlier? No, because obviously him and Homelander's rivalry is the thing that we're pretty much here for. At the end of the day, you know, Huey's okay with A-Train now. I guess MM and Soldier Boy still got some unresolved beef, but apart from that, Billy's and Homelander's rivalry is the thing that we pretty much watch the show for. There's obviously good things in it, and, you know, Maeve's story is really good, and I like A-Train's story, the deep story. Black Noir, apparently he's back. I don't know if they're just going to put someone else behind the mask, or they've brought him back. Whatever, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to put a spoiler warning in the title, I think, because I forgot to say. And you've probably watched this. If you're thinking of watching the show, you're on season 1, you find out Black Noir's died, I'm so sorry, but I have put a spoiler warning in the title, so, you know, not my problem. But yeah, I think that, you know, Billy and Homelander probably have 3-4 more seasons of beef left before they close the show. there's not really. It's hard again because they don't really stay close to the source material, so it's a bit strange on how I can kind of see the future panning out. I think in the comics only 3 characters actually survive, and that is like, I think, Huey, Starlight and the Deep, and that is it. Literally everyone else dies, although people's characters are a lot different. Obviously, like, you know, in the comics, like Homelander and A-Train and a few others are pure evil, whereas like the Deep in the comics is actually like probably the most decent person on the team besides Starlight, whereas in the show they've made the Deep like a bit of a cunt. Obviously he's like, now he's just like comic relief, like he's just a gag character, but in the comics he was just this, he was probably the most average guy on the team. He just cared about money, that was it. He never did anything bad, so that's probably why they let him live. Whereas in the show there's a chance he could die, but I don't actually think they would, because, you know, when they kill a character off, like a major character, it's normally to provide some sort of, you know, emotional sting. But no one would, I don't think anyone would really care. People would probably like miss the comedy, but that's about it. So I can't see him dying. In the next season, A-Train could very well die, because he had this big story in season 3, and they've made him into a really decent character now, like where he's starting to feel for people. So I mean, he could potentially die in the next season. I have no clue. Again, it's spoilers alert, I've already said that like a million times, but in the comics, at the end, basically the whole group of the vigilantes, so like, you know, Kimiko, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, and oh yeah, well that's it, are killed by Billy. They're killed by Billy because even after Homelander's death, he wants all the Supes to die. Like, he doesn't quite feel satisfied, so he wants all the Supes to die, so he builds like a biochemical weapon with the original creator of V in an attempt to kill them all off. And the boys find out, and he kills them. He kills Mother's Milk, and then he kills and then he kills Frenchie and Kimiko until he's confronted by Huey on the Empire State Building, and they fight, and they fly out of a window, and Huey gets his leg broken, nothing much because he's on the V, so it doesn't really affect him that bad, but Billy's like full on paralyzed, like that full fucked him. So in an attempt to die, he basically goads Huey into killing him by saying that he killed his parents when he didn't, and when, you know, Huey kills him and then calls up his mum and dad and realizes that they're okay, he, like, you know, realizes that, you know, Billy died with a smile on his face because he was capping. So that's basically the ending. Do I think Billy would do that in the show? No. And the reason is he's got a lot more character depth in the show. In the comics, he's literally nearly as bad as Homelander. In the show, he's teetered around it. He's teetered around it a couple times, but I don't think he's anywhere near as bad as he is in the show. But the same kind of goes for Homelander, really. I think Homelander's a lot more worse in the comics. But I mean, everybody is. It's on paper, so it's easier to make someone a shitbag. But in shows, they kind of tend to make people more kind of emotional to reel the viewers in. But yeah, I don't know. People who I definitely know will not die are the Starlight, Huey, Billy, Homelander and Ryan, and that's it. Anyone else is literally up for grabs. Maeve could very well die. Also, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in it. He plays my favourite character on television, Negan. So I can't wait to see him. From the looks of things, he doesn't have any powers. He's just, I think he looks like he's working for the government, but I could be wrong. He'll probably die, if I'm being honest. If they've introduced him this late, he's probably going to die. But I'm looking forward to him nonetheless. this season, I think, is mainly going to be taking down Victoria. I don't think they're really going to bring down Homelander much, except maybe like beat him up a bit if they can, bruise his ego, and that's about it. I think this season they're probably gonna kill Victoria, and then at the end we might get a hint that Soldier Boy would come back, because you know he's still alive. So I do think there's a chance Soldier Boy could come back. If Soldier Boy got his own spin-off, I would fucking love that. I'm sorry, he'll probably die in the show, but I'd love for him to get his own spin-off. That'd be dope. And yeah, that's basically all the theories I have. I'm not a great theorist. Again, because they're so different, it's hard to tell what's going to happen. Like with Invincible, it's kind of easy to predict what's going to happen because the show follows the comics quite closely, with a couple different differences here and there. But with The Boys, they've diverted a lot. Like in the comics, Soldier Boy was weak, but in the show he's like the strongest soup. Yes, I think he's stronger than Homelander. But, you know, so there's a lot of differences, so I don't actually know what could happen. And yeah, that's all I really have. I hope you have enjoyed. If I'm right, then you have to subscribe. 2 months from now, when the show comes out, you have to subscribe. Because I'm the GOAT. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys.